The Chicago Symphony Orchestra does not use technology. I've been in rehearsals with the CSO. I've never have seen them use any type of technology. How come we do that? Yeah.
Just trying different ways to get people to this place, different opportunities for kids to learn different ways for kids.
Okay, yeah, it's different ways, so, but why is it? Why are we choosing technology?
I think there's also some UDL stuff you could do with that, for like more visual or kinesthetic learners.
Right, yeah, you're going to do that. What else, though?
I was explaining that it is because we're losing the music educators. Music educators are losing the one-on-one time with students that.
Okay. Now that's a real good observation, because the idea of the technology allows you to extend the classroom. Okay, we could only even recently teach just right here. You know, the person has to be here with you. The student has to be here. Now with smart music, you don't need the teacher. Why else?
Well, it also shows different innovative and convenient approaches to teaching and approaches to help students learn better.
And why do they learn better? Because you're on the right track.
What younger students are used to build, use computers.
Yeah. Kids learn faster and more effectively with a technological approach.
Especially like visually.
Yeah, they're visual learners. I wrote an article once about that. Visual learners and how to teach rhythm. Because we go ahead and we go through an audible approach, usually auditory approach. And you got to think about what's the typical kid doing? What's that typical 7th grader, 9th grader? What's their world? And they got a screen in front of them. They got a screen in front of them. So if we can find a way to go ahead and bring that into our classroom, then Joey's right. He's talking about not only effectiveness, which is the most important thing, but efficiency as well. Okay. Now the thing is, on most of these methods of technology, they don't do much when it comes to instruction. Okay. There's not a lot there in terms of instruction. It's primarily communication based. Okay. So the trick is, how do you go ahead and do this? So now think back to high school, think back to an English class, a language arts class, a math class, a science class. How is technology used there from an instructional standpoint? Right?
You put the notes up on the board.
What's that?
Put the notes like.
Okay. So notes. So some type, again, kind of thinking through in terms of what's goals, objectives, procedures. What else do you do? Yeah.
Blackboard, they would post certain documents, and you would have to go and read it yourself.
Mm-hmm. How many of you had to do listening assignments that they recorded, your director recorded a rehearsal, put it up on some type of Compass site, Blackboard site, something like that? It can even be Google Docs, they use that, and you have listening assignments. You listen to it, a lot of times you write a reflective statement, sometimes it's just listen, know what you, and learn from that. Did you have, yeah. That's very, very, very common that we're using that. So that's kind of looking at how we use Compass or Blackboard. What else? Did you use it anywhere else? Yeah.
My English class had a blog that we were all a part of, and we'd have to post things and comment on each other's writing.
Right. Yeah.
For our math class, we had to take online quizzes once every 2 weeks that were submitted for a grade.
Yeah, again, that extension of the classroom. Yeah.
This wasn't in high school, but here I took a CNI class that used a wiki page.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of people in music education, I know in instrumental music methods, I went to a conference last May, and a lot of people are using wiki pages in their methods courses. It's real interesting to use it that way. Good way of compiling things, archiving things, and having everyone have access to everything. Here's examples. I hope I can show you 2 examples. I know for sure I'll give one. Let's see, this is on. Please work. Okay. Now, what this is a multiple purpose assignment. The first thing is technology, and it's nothing great guns, but it's going to be a PowerPoint. It's going to go ahead and you have to put in audio clips with their sometimes some type of graphic video clip, something like that. Okay, so there was a technological component to it. The other thing that was important was we wanted to look at comprehensive musicianship. Okay, comprehensive musicianship. You're going to be hearing that a lot. Those are the expectations nowadays, is that we're not just training groups to play 3-4 pieces within a 6 to 8 week period of time. Okay, that's not the goal any longer. It's what musical concepts are students learning. You probably have heard me say this. I'll keep saying it, and I just really believe in it. Repertoire, the literature that your kids experience. Okay, repertoire is the vehicle for student learning of musical concepts. Now think about that for a second. Was that the purpose of your high school band program? Repertoire is the vehicle for student learning of musical concepts. Okay? Think about that. So what we think about in terms of a comprehensive musicianship experience is I always talk about 3 main components. There's a 4th one which is very, very difficult to teach. The first one I think is obvious, content knowledge. What's some of the things that you can go ahead and include that would include in content knowledge that your kids would go ahead and learn? Yeah.
Music history, music theory, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
but put it into a real, like a music history part of it. What would be an example?
The like origin of the piece that you're playing.
Program notes, right? What's another thing that you would do?
Style.
So you could go with the style, yeah. What else? Composer biography. Okay, so you have a lot of that. Terminology. See, what I always just I cringe all the time. This is the typical thing. Gets to midterm, and the band director gets called in by the principal and says, "Where are your grades?" And it's like, well, you know, we got the concert coming up. No, we need grades now. So the band director grabs the music dictionary and extracts 20 terms, gives a study guide, passes out, said, we're going to have a quiz on this in 3 days. Go home and study, right? Now, there's a good chance that none of those terms that were selected, the kids will experience in the music that they're performing. Now, if you want to do a terminology exam or a quiz, take all the music that you are performing, extract those terms, group them, tempo terminology, articulation terminology, okay? Give the kids a study sheet and incorporate it, integrate it into your rehearsal. Now it's active learning. What's the matter?
I said, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no. Okay. I hope I did something.
It's the first time that's